Welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I am Ms. Day. This is a collective reading. I know it's been a while. I'm terribly sorry. My devices have all failed me this week. So, really just wanted to do a reading. And I'm sure that the volume's not going to be as loud, but I need to just do these readings anyway because I can feel that I need to. I feel like, first of all, like one of the things that I'm getting immediately is that like people are suffering in silence right now. It's kind of weird. It's like, okay. I almost feel like people who have been experiencing friction, maybe just in interactions with other people, like I feel like that's almost given you more reason to like be full speed ahead in your own maturing, in your own self-growth. Like I feel like that's really important to you even as you come kind of head on with these other forces. Oh, I think that whoever this is for too, I think that you have I think that you like are grateful for all of the things. Oh, I just thought of that song. You know that song? That I want to feel pride and shame. Want to feel blah, blah, blah. I don't know all the words. But they're like, don't want to look back and say it could have been me. I feel like you are grateful for the full spectrum. Like you're grateful for all of the experience. Okay. I feel like whoever this reading is for, you always know what you want. Like you always can see what you want. But there's something, it's like it's always so far away though, emotionally. It's like you always know what you want, but you're never quite able to get it, to have it, even when you do all the things. I think you've spent a lot of time kind of carrying others, and it's held you back from your own dreams and like your own wants in life. And I think that you always know that what you want, but it's like for some reason it's like whoever this reading is for, you always, there are two parts of this, it feels like in one mind. It's like you always knew that the people that you kept company with didn't have the same desires and outlooks as you, but you always also knew that you also always had those desires though. Like you never really understood why other people couldn't, or that other people couldn't also see the depth and importance of like reaching these life goals. And I feel like you're like ready to stop carrying others, but I think that it's like a turmoil kind of feeling. It feels like there's a huge grieving period. Like it's turmoil to just recognize that you have done that with yourself. And I think that the thing is, the reaction to this, like the positive with this, is that I don't think it feels good yet, first of all. I think that whoever this reading is for, you're grateful for the full spectrum. Crazy. I feel like your human is still so wounded that it doesn't feel this way, but I feel like your soul feels like, I just heard this like Trisha Yearwood song, that I would have loved you anyway, would have done it all the same. And I don't know what this is about, but it feels a lot like you are you're a very accountable person. You may even think you're a slow learner, and I think that you hold that against yourself. I think that's what this is. This is nuts. I think that you hold against yourself that you're like kind of slow to realize that you hold yourself back, or when you hold yourself back, or when others are kind of slowing you down and you're not as helpful as you think you are. I don't mean that in general. I mean, I think that when other people, I think you may kind of be someone who gets drained easily by others. I don't know if it's taken advantage of so much as kind of just overlooked, stepped over. Just because, like, I think that's an identity you might wear. You might not even realize that that's just like the way that you place yourself. This is so many different people. Like, I feel like you're always kind of like yearning for something that you're not even sure exists, but you are. It does. And I think that all of your own intentions, even though they're always like for good, I think that not everybody has always like necessarily benefited from your time and efforts and energy as much as you hoped they would, as much as they could have. Like, I don't think this is on you, but I think that it has held you back. And you're not one to be held back. That I think has you know what it makes me think of? You know how some people, like, when they have, like, just imagine someone with a broken foot. You might be this person. This might be you. Where you have like a broken limb or something like some ailment, and you're supposed to stay off of it and you're not supposed to do all the things. And then there are those people, like whoever this reading is for, possibly, that you just have to do all the things. Like, you can't stop. You don't stop, and you don't listen, and you don't stop. And I feel like this is almost like a looking back at that type of experience for you, where like the experience of trying to give your best as you grew along your own journey, like trying to give your best to all of those around you, holding you back. Like, I think that when you finally reach the realization, which you may actually be coming to now, this may be kind of a new realization, but I feel like you may be recognizing that and really holding yourself against your own self, because you're a really accountable person. You've grown in an accountability. Like, you are really accountable. Super, super hard on yourself, I think, because you have really high expectations for yourself. And that's great. But at the same time, I think that that's holding you back right now. It's like okay. It's like they held you back for all of this time because you were giving everything you had in the wrong direction and not really getting what you deserved from it. And then now you're almost held back because you have to go through this period of grieving. And you cannot speed the process. That seems to be a theme in readings today right now, where it's like you cannot speed healing. It does have to take time. It's not the time that heals it. It's that the healing takes time. Like, just think about like a cut. And it's like at some point there is new skin finally, right? At the end of this healing where like finally it's all covered up. But it's so tender that you still have to baby it. And it's like it may look okay, but it's not strong enough to take another hit yet. And it's like, this feels like you're almost pissed at yourself because you're impatient with your own healing because you're already like disappointed in yourself for losing time. I feel like this is a huge need for someone to take a breath in and allow yourself to feel good about your own intentions. Like, you need to stop. It's almost like, okay, you know how your vision kind of was always on other people and healing and helping other people? It's like your vision now is almost on overdrive because it has nowhere to go, because you've gone through kind of detaching and letting go. You've done so much work and removed yourself from fights, and you've removed yourself from so many dark trenches you could still be in if you hadn't come out of them intentionally of your own free will. And so I feel like your view, it's like this, it feels like overstimulation. Put it out there. Like it's got to go somewhere else. And that's a good thing. You've got overdrive. It's just, I feel like you need to do something with it. Exercise, add things into your life. This sounds so rude. But this is what I just saw. I feel like add things into your life to replace the people you've lost. And I don't mean because you're adding I don't mean because if you go on a hike, you're replacing a best friend. I'm just saying replace things by just beginning to fill your time with other things to focus on. Like, that's what I mean. Instead of being so hyper aware of what has been, become more forcefully aware of something new becoming in the new reality now. Because the forward motion with this reading is really, really balanced. And it's balanced it's like a balance of passion and peace. And that is where I feel like you're gonna land, because whoever this is, that song, that I want to feel pride and shame, that song, whoever this reading is for, you are grateful for the full spectrum. You're not going to be comfortable until you have it. And sometimes when we break out of situations and we don't necessarily have somewhere new to place our gaze, sometimes that old situation can kind of keep drawing us back just because we're so it's the only thing we see. It's just the only thing in our view. So it's like you have to create a new one. That's what this feels like. And it's interesting because the only negative is that overstimulated type of feeling where it's like you've got to look away. You are so accountable. This is nuts, because I was just talking in one of my members' videos about how I can become super over paranoid if I allow myself to dive into things that create that paranoia, obviously. But it's like, this feels kind of like that, where it's like this super hyper awareness of what has been and what has been lost, and all of the missteps along the way, all of the red flags, even in your own mind, that you ignored and dodged and stepped over. And it's like, it's too much. It's going forward. And it's like you're not ready to go forward. You got to breathe and accept yourself where you're at. You've got to accept yourself where you're at right now at this present moment. Because if you can do that, then you can create a new outlook. But it's like if you keep just holding the past against yourself, then a new outlook, it's not, where's it going to come from? You're too busy putting all of your energy into knowing what you could have done instead of doing it now. And it's like, this is it. You have come to a place where that awareness is not a curse. It is a gift. It's a gift. It's an opportunity. The opportunity is there. Sometimes with, this is not for everyone, but sometimes when you're going through all of these experiences and you're like really going through as an adult all of these overwhelming emotions, and maybe you come to a halt in your own life, in your own lifestyle, in your own cycles and kind of pathways and relationships, sometimes we can hit this moment where we're like in panic mode because we're like, oh, I did it wrong. And I feel like this is kind of like that, where the message with this reading is, actually, you've got a lot of good things going for you. The only thing going against you is your own expectations. It's like you expect so much out of yourself that after you learn a lesson, it's almost like you're annoyed that you had to learn it. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't know that sooner. Like, that's what it feels like. And it's actually really cute, but it also, man, that's got to be hard to live with. Like, it feels really hard to live in. Whew. Just feels like this constant need to produce in the body. Like, it's just constant need to produce. And it's like, okay, I feel like what somebody needs to know is that when you're constantly trying to come out here and trying to come out here, it's because your own consciousness doesn't want to bear what's going on in here. This is reality. What you're aware of may not feel good, but sometimes when you're just trying to, oh my gosh, overcompensate and overdo because you did it wrong. Sometimes that's you trying to leave. Like, you're trying to get out of this experience right here, and you've got to fill this up. So do some breathing exercises and do some mind and body connection exercises, because whoever this reading is for, I think you have such high expectations for yourself that you're awesome. Awesome. But you need that passion to be matched with peace. Otherwise, like, your heart's not going to do well. Like, you've got to breathe peace into your own body. Because you're really smart. I feel like you're so smart that it doesn't make sense that you don't have all the things lined up in your life that you want, because you're so smart and you're such a good learner. That's why I feel like you hold it against yourself when you go so long not learning maybe one lesson. But, oh, we all do that. Whew, it's like, okay, that's where, you know how they say the fight or flight, like, when you're really over the top, a lot of people right now, like, I think there's a lot of chest tension in here. I think there's a lot of tension in here. And when you're really feeling kind of your own, just picture it like your energy kind of like trying to leave. You're grateful for the full spectrum. You love the whole experience. So that's not your true self. That's your emotions leading you. Like, that's your emotions running you and running the show, instead of you being able to do that for yourself, which is obviously what we all want. I hope that's helpful. I hope this is helpful. I know it's kind of a stressful one, but Okay, so I will see you in the next reading. Definitely let me know if this resonates for you. And I'll see you in the next reading. Have a good rest of your night. All right, bye.